Today was really amazing in terms of just all the information that we've gone through today. Today Apple came in, which was the biggest component of the day, and the first session was really looking at the model of today's learner, the new technology that's out there, and the role that Apple is playing, and the changing face of how schools in particular can interact with the new technology. And I think that some things that really impressed me today was, the apps and stuff, look, all of them are amazing, and the technology behind them is brilliant. But this notion of, I found that the big ideas that the Apple presenters went through were much more fascinating as to what's going to happen, and being aware of what's happening, I guess. Things that were the most amazing was that Arisma app was quite spectacular. Plus that notion of augmented reality, which I've never heard of before, and I think that is going to be something that I wouldn't mind playing with. I can see some direct links that I can make with my classroom environment. Now, they talked about the modern student and how the modern student is a 21st century learner, and that means that they expect that learning happens like social media because that's what they're used to. And social media and computing is mobile, and it happens in an instant. And if you want to learn something, really just go to Wikipedia, which is a wiki, which is part of this Web 2.0 technology where anyone can author. Though Wikipedia, because I was reading that yesterday, Wikipedia do have a lot of safeguards for you to actually be able to edit their work. Anyway, so that's a snapshot of the modern day learner, which, while accurate, I guess based on the research, I do have some reservations about the level of technology that they really can understand, as well as this idea behind the fact that we need to change our pedagogies, change our content to suit our clients, when change isn't always the most. You don't need to change. Just because they're changing as learners doesn't mean that you have to change. There are elements that you can bring in, so it's not a boots all kind of scenario. The big ideas that Apple produced, as I mentioned earlier, were amazing. The notion that the liberal arts needs to intersect with technology, I think that has a lot to do with what we are to do in terms of future proofing our this generation for years of work and things like that, as well as the changing learning environment, focusing on that notion of constructivism as well. The iPad is the iPad's an amazing piece of technology, but what I really liked about that was the notion that really, an iPad, it's just an iPad. It's cool, it's funky, it does stuff. What makes it special is the fact that you create it to how you want it to be. So therefore, it is truly personal computing. It's like you create that thing in the image that you want. So if you are a big gamer, there'll be lots of games, but then it's not necessarily the same as someone else. I thought that had a lot of that was a big wow moment for me. The increase in literacy is always a big thing for schools, and the notion that we have to increase our information literacy, our media literacy, our standard read and write literacy, all these different literacy students have to become better at or more able to interact with, was quite interesting. Some of the other big points that I saw from the Apple presentation was, look, your school can spend $100,000 on technology, but unless you have that vision of what you want it for, why bother? You need to have it. And that's probably something I struggle with, because if I see something new, I'll just go, yeah, I'll do it. But I don't see that it's going to really affect my students in a positive way. So I'm going to have to really work on this notion of having a vision so that I can get that good integration happening. Yeah, so those were some of the big notions from today. Look, we did some Pebble Pad, we did some other stuff. Honestly, it's the Apple stuff that I really took from today's course. In terms of my relation, the concepts of vision and functionality really did meld with me. Like, I really understood that in terms of what I can do in the classroom, and this notion. But I guess what I really want to focus on in terms of the relation today is this idea of constructivism and the role of community. Look, Apple gave me some great stuff, but in terms of actual relating from that, sorry, let me clarify this a little bit further. My big ideas that I can bring into my work. Don't be so crazy with the tech as it comes in. Basically, make sure that I see the vision for it before I implement it. That was one big thing that I got from Apple, and this notion of the intersect between those. And I can put them into my classroom situation, which I'll elaborate on later. The other one is this notion of community and the idea of constructivism, and to create an e-learning environment or a learning environment, you still need that community. And how we can use technology to create that community is going to be that big challenge for me, I guess, especially getting kids to feel comfortable enough to critique their own work online. That is the big journey, I think, for me over the next few, it's the next big journey for me, creating an online community where they feel it's okay to critique and look at other people's work and go, you know what, how about this and this and this, to really get that collaboration happening. Will that be easily done through any Apple products? I'm not sure yet, whether it's an app or just an actual Apple product. I'll have to look into that a little bit longer, but yeah, those are the main points that I got from today.